Intro to Art B1 Part 3. Okay, so the syllabus quiz is where we left off. Make sure you take this. I will send a couple reminders, but the way attendance is taken online is weekly submissions. So if you don't submit this quiz, and this is really a helpful quiz to make sure you know what to expect for the course. There's other sections of Art B1 online, so if you feel like this course is too picky, I mean, I am really specific about stuff, but I try to be as clear as I can so they know what to expect. But, for every course you take, the instructor may drive you crazy, or you may just really enjoy that instructor. I have to tell you, however many classes I have taken, which is a great number of classes. I have my master's degree, but I also have a lot of other units that I've taken. I've had some terrible instructors, and I've had some amazing instructors. And sometimes I find that I learn just as well from somebody who I don't like, as well as I do from someone I do. So that's just a thought. But, if you feel like this is too structured for you, you have other options, but figure that out in the first days of the course. Don't mess around and think it's going to be different, because I won't change the course to suit you, if that makes sense. Try to find a place where you're going to fit best, okay? That being said, I mean, if you have an accommodation letter, DSPS paperwork, please send that to me as soon as possible. Of course, I do make some modifications and give extensions and so on. But for the rest of us who are operating without an accommodation letter, make sure that you understand that all the due dates are firm. Okay? All right. So the syllabus is here. Modules, like I mentioned, modules and home and this link are all the same, right? And we'll take a quick look at the modules. We have our 16 weeks. We have Thanksgiving. We don't have anything due that holiday, so there's nothing really happening that week, but everything else is an active week. All right? Then we're going to get down to grades. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to switch to student view, and it's going to look a little weird. And not everything works in student view that I can show you. So this is partly where it gets into trouble, where I can't help you online. If you're having some kind of difficulty, there are only certain things I can do, and I cannot log in as you. So just that's part of my condition, that you really ask for help from Canvas. I know I say that a lot, but I just want to make sure that you know what to do so you're not waiting for me to respond. So you move ahead and just get it done. Okay, so in my student view, I'm going into grades, and I'm going to look at my grade. Okay, I already graded everything for the whole course, and the reason I do that is to make sure I have the points correct, and that I figured out where the assignments should be, and that kind of thing. So what you're going to see is, once you do the syllabus quiz, I have to manually score that one. So there might be like a little blank space here for now, and then it'll say how many out of 20 after the due date. Okay? Same thing for the discussion, that's manually graded. The 0.0 intro quiz, these all three are the ones that are due the first week. That will be automatically graded. It's a multiple choice, it's in Canvas, it's automatically generated, so you have your score right away from that. You have 2 attempts on that, by the way. For most quizzes, you have 2 attempts. When you get into the following week, those are quizzes, that's all automatic points. But once you work on discussions, you have to wait for me to grade it. And there are rubrics, and I'll get into that later. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. I'm just going to look at my grade, and then I'm going to go back into comments in just a moment. So I'm going to look at my grade. I got an A. I have 1,070 points. It'll be possible for you to get like 1,200 with extra credit. You only need 900. And I give you 5 points grace, so 895 to pass. Now, get an A. So if you are looking at homework, quizzes, exam, and extra credit, if you're looking at these, and you're only looking at one of them, you're not getting the full picture. So make sure you look down here. There's a percentage way to look at this, and there's also a points way to look at this, okay? You need 1,000 points total, or there are 1,000 points total for the course. You only need 900 for an A, right? And then 800 for a B, and so on. So just keep on top of your points. It is available to you all the time to look at this. All right, so I'm going to scroll up and look at a comment that the instructor, which is me, so this doesn't work really perfectly, but I'll show you. There's a comment there. This should, if you did your notifications correctly, this should go directly into your email. If it doesn't, you can check it here. So I said, my comment was, please review the page on elements and principles and rewrite this by the due date. So I gave 10 points off, and I said, you know, that's a very generic comment. I just did that for the practice, but usually it's more involved than that. I'll be like, I don't understand what happened. So I'll click on that, and I'll look at the comments. What I want you to do is go back and reread your submission and reread the prompts, meaning the questions, and then rewrite it. Don't comment on anything here because I won't be able to see it. There's 144 students, so when I get the comments, it's a bulk bunch of items. So make sure you email me if you have an issue with that, okay? And then I'm going to bring you over to grade challenge, okay? So what I have found that students often don't really look at the directions and just kind of think it's a general essay or a general writing about that subject, but that's usually not what I want. I really want you to specifically answer certain questions, okay? So part of that is because there's a lot of information on the internet. It's very easy to cut and paste, and I don't want you to do that at all. So I'm going to come up with questions that you can't easily find. All right. So we were here first, you know, we watched first, and then we have to click on these different things to show that we read them. So in this case, I'm going to go here. I'm going to mark that as done. That's what that looks like. And you can go to the next. Right now I've only uploaded the first of, probably it's going to be 5 videos. Statement of professionalism. You're going to read this over. And this is going to tell you about how much time you're going to spend on the course, what is expected of you, okay? And then this links to the student code of conduct here for BC, and it gives you an idea of what is expected of you, okay? So it talks a little bit about plagiarism, but I also give you a longer page on that too. Online learning, there's a link there, and that looks like that, but there's also another one called, oh gosh, I can't remember, Orientator, that's what I'm trying to say. Netiquette, we talked about that one. And then the syllabus, we talked about that. We're going to go over to that link and then look at it. Notifications, that's just a rehash of what I talked to you about in the first video. Maybe it was the second, I apologize. So online learning, that's that Orientator. COVID is about being, what is it? Okay, expectations. Grade challenge. Okay, here we go. So grade challenge, oh, that's weird. It's wanting me to mark all these. It won't let me get there. Okay, so the grade challenge it's basically asking you to be polite and stay calm and send me 1 email. Okay, so I'm going to leave student view because it's making it too complicated for me. It's glitching. So there's an image of what the notification settings look like. Okay. COVID circumstances. So really the most important thing I can say about the circumstances we're in is do your best to stay calm and take care of yourself, okay? One thing I would just say about staying calm or taking care of yourself and taking care of your emotional needs is that emotional stress brings your resistance, your immune resistance down. And that's a scientific thing. It's not just a, how you want to say it, it's not just a nice thought. So really try to take care of yourself and take your vitamin C, do your exercise, be as healthy as you possibly can be, literally eat your spinach, because if you do become ill, your chances of doing better through COVID with a better health, better outcome is because you'd be less stressed and less physically impaired, okay? Now that's easy for me to say, you might think, but I have asthma, I have a number of health conditions, and I know that if I don't do X, Y, and Z, I catch a cold really easily or what have you. So, I'm not trying to bring this to be about me, but I'm just saying that if you can, do your best to stay calm in this time. It's hard, I know, it really is, but your brain works better when you're calm. Your body works better when you're calm, and that's all I can really say. Aside from that, I have to say, now that we're into fall, we have to normalize a little bit, and I do appreciate that you guys are stressed out, okay? Sometimes I have a hard time to focusing myself. It takes more energy right now to focus. I respect that. But we have to treat each other respectfully, and I put that in here, so I want you to read that over. And I'm pretty clear about how I respond when I respond. And students sometimes complain about that. They're like, oh, it's too rigid. But I do want you to know that I'm a live person. I'm here. I will help you any way I can. But I can't just be 24/7. Okay, I have to respect my own health and welfare as well. So I will respond. I do respond. I'm really good at emailing back. If you don't get an email in 48 hours from me, and that is mentioned over here, if you don't get an email from me, except for the weekends, if you don't get an email from me in 48 hours, something likely went wrong, okay? When you're using the inbox over here, it's a lot more trustworthy than regular email. I've never had any kind of glitch happen coming from that inbox, okay? And that's been a couple years we've had that. So just let me know if you're ill. I have had a few ill students, not at Bakersfield, thankfully, but I have had a number of ill students, and very frustrating and sad, and some of them are on financial aid, and they do need to pass the class, and it's a struggle, right? So at a certain point, you're going to have to decide if you do become ill, and this is not just for COVID, you're going to have to decide whether or not you're going to make it through the course, okay? Because some students get into this thing where they've missed, a couple weeks, and usually I'm pretty hardcore about dropping after 2 weeks. But say, for instance, you've emailed me and you say you're quite ill, and you do wish to continue, and then a few more weeks go by and nothing happens. Then I'm going to advise you to drop. And right now, you can do a medical withdrawal, and you want to really ask admissions, or you want to ask a counselor for more details on this. But the way we were doing this in the spring was, if you got a medical withdrawal, you could still get your financial aid. I don't know if that's still true, so double check on that before you quote me on that. But we want you to do well, okay? But if it really is impossible for you to finish the course or to pass, then we have to take some action and get you to withdraw or do a medical withdrawal. Okay? There's no third way of passing this course where you don't do any work and you pass. That's not an option. So either you recover and are able to work, or you drop and you repeat. Okay? We'll work with you, all right? But be clear about what is happening, and you're going to need documentation, okay, from a doctor. So just the last few things on ConverZoom etiquette. I didn't write this. I got this from the department chair, and I thought that was funny because I've only had one person. She basically was in bed with a blanket over her, and I think she was wearing a tank top, but it didn't look that way. But yeah, definitely be be dressed and ready, at least from the top up, whatever we can see on the camera, and participate and speak up. Make sure that you're muting yourself. I think you guys all probably know that stuff. You're allowed to bring pets. I had a student who had a boa constrictor in the spring. I had no idea she had a snake as a pet. So it's been interesting. I learn a lot more about you all nowadays than I used to, which is really quite fun for me. Okay, so be kind to yourself and your classmates. So slow down a little bit. Slow is fast. All right, don't freak out and panic. Try to just be calm. Now, our conference Zooms are optional, so I left these in, but just, for other classes, we don't really need this. Down here, there's more detail, okay? Always more detail. I know I'm hitting you over the head with detail, but I want you to understand what's expected, okay? All right, next video.